stream, my Monday Night Raw review. This is Jacob Cass 2024. This video was sponsored by Fightful Pro Wrestling, Solomon the Sound Off, JD from New York, Joe Cronin, No DQ, and the other favorite podcasters. Make sure you guys hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. We're gonna go through Monday Night Raw. This was the go home show for WrestleMania 41. Last one until the biggest show of all time. This is how the show ended. We will go through this show. We will talk about the show. We will talk about the news and rumors for AEW. And what tonight I don't think I should go to my predictions. I think I'll talk about my predictions on Friday since that. But we will go through this whole show here. Now, this is the highlight for Monday Night Raw. The end of the wife man. That's the full rundown for the WrestleMania 41 card. One man puts his Paul Heyman away. I think the only thing that mattered was the ending of this show. When CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. The story about Paul Heyman. We will go through that. We got a great vignette with Bianca, Rhea, and Io Sky. These are all the other podcasters. They come out with commentary. There's Issa, their comment. It was kind of lackluster. The only thing matter was the ending. The build to this triple threat match. The Last of Us season 2 episode 1. I didn't get to watch that. There's AEW with Mercedes and Athena. The NXT Go Home show for Stand and Deliver. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything tonight. Alright, hold on. Oh, that it? Alright. Now this is AEW Collision. Those are the highlights on the show. The great one can be talking about this. Hold on. There's a commercial. Alright, now let's go to everything else. I'm not gonna talk about the NBA, at least not now. Here's the position. We have Stephanie and we have Rob. Why Stephanie Chase doing it and not Sean myself? Alright. The news and rumors. 3 reasons WWE have made Mega audible for Charlie Flair's 15 championship reign. Mania's not even interested. Here's Solomon preview and predictions here. Oh, here's the NBA. Here are the teams who are making it to the playoffs. Alright. So here, just Alice. He's gonna go to his predictions on the pay-per-view. Alright, Joe Henry playing versus Graf. Alright. Death Rebel exposed. Now this is Death Rebel exposed for using stock vocals and lyrics for WWE theme music. Yeah, it definitely will suck. It's actually terrible. Alright. One ways on Monday Night Raw. There's I did that New Japan. Alright. Now let's go to Penta vs. Finn Balor tonight. Alright. We have Andrew Zarian over here, but he's not gonna talk about it until like it might be tomorrow. I'm gonna go do all the podcasters first.
Well, hello there.
Alright. Big death down for the 2024 WrestleMania Go Home Slam. Cause nothing happened on this show really outside the ending. And that was really it. We're just days away. 5 days away, I think. Or actually 6 days, I think. Alright, so there's AEW. Does the F-Man make it any better? Superstars Shakeup.
The other thing is coming out of SmackDown on Friday. Well, Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah, Kevin Owens' injury. We don't know if Randy Orton can have a match or not. Did AEW Moxley ride the company to the ground? Not much news and rumors here. Might will show y'all Monday Night Raw. Now, not much happened on the show. Now there's the highlight. The full rundown of WrestleMania 41 card. Bailey versus Liv Morgan with the open out the first match. Bailey won. It was a decent match. If Bailey got the victory here, he's probably not winning WrestleMania. I'd be shocked if he does. But obviously, I think they're setting okay. Liv and Raquel probably gonna retain their titles against Bailey and Lyra. Because Bailey and Lyra got the Bailey got the victory. Lyra helped her beat Liv. We had El Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable, again using his loaded man to hurt Rey Mysterio. After Wade beat one of the Creed brothers, he used his man to hurt Rey Mysterio. Is Wade gonna win here or Gable gonna win? I don't know. This is Chad Gable's first singles match at WrestleMania. Well, now he's playing he's playing as a new character. So we got Logan Paul and Karrion Kross annihilate AJ Styles in Sneak Attack. AJ Styles beat Karrion Kross in this match. Karrion Kross is not over. He has a new attire. He got the long hair. He actually loses to AJ Styles clean. And then we got Logan Paul and AJ Styles on. They brawl for a bit. And Kross tried to help out. And AJ Styles, I think Paul stood tall against AJ. Now this is just a grudge match. It's only on the card because we gotta give AJ Styles and Logan Paul something to do because they ain't factored in the plan. Not in time matches. It just a filler feud just to give him something to do. Maybe look, I didn't Logan Paul to win because well that depends if he can win around. Since Styles is the baby face, you can do maybe Logan can go over and Jey Uso wins, then we could do Jey Uso and Logan Paul maybe. Jey Uso promised to win the World Heavyweight title. He has a very good promo, decent promo here. Now this is what opened the show. Gunther vowed to not make the same mistake with Jey Uso. It was a very decent promo here. We have Finn Balor and Penta. A brawl here with Penta, Braun, and Jobin Day walked into a brawl here. We had a very good vignette with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley, very black one another. And then the whole main event segment with the ending with that Seth Stomp, Punk, and Roman. And you also teased Paul Heyman. What could happen in that main event? Where did Paul Heyman leave his line? What would happen? There's the full highlight. That was pretty much all on the show. Literally, that was like all on the show. Pretty sure the show was like what, 2.5 hours? There was hardly anything on this show. That's the bet that they got. Just filler. We got the tag team title for the women. We got filler feuds here with Ray and Grande Americano, AJ and Logan Paul. Then we got the IC title feud with all 4 of these guys with Balor, with Dominic, Braun Breaker, and Penta. And then we got the World Heavyweight title with Jay and Gunther. Now we're finally getting good. Then we got the Triple Threat match. I don't think we saw him on the show tonight. I think they're only in the vignette. These are the only 2 Triple Threat matches that I'm looking forward to that had build and story and history. These 2 matches should be good. Now this one's gonna be on night 1. I mean this one's gonna be on night 2. And this one's gonna be on night 1. Alright, so wait, hold on. Just wanna make sure I didn't miss anything. Is that really it? Okay. Alright, come on.
To show you a 3-minute package of something that happened last week. That's stupid and annoying, and it takes up too much time. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't care about it. I don't care about it. There's so much stuff I don't care about. It's like none of this matters. All these matches feel like kind of like lower mid card, and which is like okay, but like that's nothing I'm gonna get crazy about. And so feels like the universe looking. Yeah. What's up, AJ? He was going crazy. Cremator. Yeah, that really. My daughter keeps asking questions. I probably won't stay on much longer because I need to get her to bed. She may never sleep now. Jennifer, so crazy that now every time you think about this episode, you're just gonna think about death. Think about the dead ferret. I'm upset for her too. Make Luke defend his title right here, right now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it hasn't even been. Like, what? What would happen? There hasn't even been one. There hasn't even been one donation yet. D. Welsh wants you to put a belt on one. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and so that D. Welsh could donate because nobody else wants to because they drained all their money at the event that actually matters. You fuckwit, you lost. If you're a wrestling fan and you're frustrated with all the services you need.
Oh, this is over? Jeffrey said what?
I almost felt like I met
Wait, this is already over too?
Yeah, of course. Let's hope I don't die, dude. This is the craziest thing I've ever done. Oh my God. You're about to see a gameplay. In advance. It's like, you know, tonight felt like the start of an explanation for the triple threat match we're getting. Yeah. You know, with Seth saying, like, you know, you guys are part-timers, CM Punk's a quitter, that's why I have to win. That felt like the start of a story to this weekend. Yeah. They're acting like they still have so many shows left. It's like, where's the urgency? You know? There's none. There's really none. I'm like, there's no... I don't see anything happening on SmackDown either. And you know what's so funny is the amount of people that I saw like talking shit to people when and it's kind of getting off subject, but not really. Talking shit to people about, oh, well, I told you should have been patient for John Cena to show up because now he's cutting the promo. Now you look stupid. You should have been patient. And it's like we're always expected to be patient and just wait like stupid, dumb, like, okay, I'll watch. Like eats my big giant fucking lollipop while my stupid propeller hat is like to figure that out.
Alright, so now let me rewind back. Gonna show you guys what Solomon had to say.
Same camp, but finally here. And we have one last Monday Night Raw to go to really solidify the build to key matches on Raw, which is what they tried to do here tonight. There was really nothing left to do other than just solidify the key matches that are coming up on the show this weekend. And they did have in the main event segment tonight, closing the show, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, who are, of course, main eventing night one this Saturday. They were in the ring together. Paul Heyman was there. He was waiting the entire night for Roman Reigns to arrive. Finally, he does. And Roman wanted to know why his wise men would betray him. And then Seth Rollins comes out, CM Punk comes out, and we had back and forth. Roman attacking Punk, Punk attacking Roman, Roman attacking Seth. But the closing scene was Seth Rollins, as last week, as we saw last week on the show. Paul Heyman cowering in the corner, and Seth Rollins is the last man standing as we head into WrestleMania this weekend. All of a sudden, I'm not feeling as confident in my prediction. I'm not jumping ship. I'm sticking with my pick. Sticking with Seth Rollins to win this match on Saturday. I don't feel as good about my pick as I did even a week ago. But that's 2 weeks in a row now that Rollins has been the last man standing in these segments. And the thing is, here's the thing with this match. Okay, when you look at the lineup for WrestleMania Night 1, there's no doubt that this match should be the main event of the show. Three of the biggest stars in the company. You got Roman Reigns and CM Punk in the ring at the same time. You got Rollins in there too, but really Roman and Punk is the attraction here. And I feel like a lot of people would agree that the match really that people want to see is Roman Reigns against CM Punk, not with Seth Rollins involved. But of course, he's been, wound into this story, so you knew he was going to be a part of this. But there's nothing on the line. And some people have complained about that, and I thought maybe they would add some kind of stipulation that ties the World Championship into it, or a future championship match, because all three of these men have talked about wanting to be the champion. Roman Reigns has talked about wanting to get back his WWE title. CM Punk came back to the company and wanted to not only headline WrestleMania, but to win the championship. Seth Rollins, he wants to get the championship back. Everything is centered around, quote-unquote, the title, okay, whichever title you want to choose from. And I thought maybe they would add a stipulation that somehow tied that into things. And they haven't done that. Instead, the story has revolved around one man, and that is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the tie that binds here. Roman wants to know why his wise man has turned on him. Punk cashed in his favor so that Paul Heyman can be in his corner in his very first WrestleMania main event. And now you have Seth Rollins on the show last week telling Heyman, now you owe me a favor. And then tonight, the parting scene on the show was Heyman cowering in the corner as Rollins just eyeballed him. Everything revolves around Paul Heyman in this match. So they had Seth Rollins come out tonight and say, this is the most important triple threat match in WrestleMania history. This is the most important triple threat match in WWE history. This is the most important triple threat match in the history of our industry, is what Seth Rollins actually said. Words that came out of his mouth in this closing segment tonight. And I'm sorry, I mean, it's I know what they're going for here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So instead of actually having something tangible on the line, now there's this nebulous idea that the soul of this company, the soul of this industry, effectively, is on the line in this match because if Roman wins, he's a part-time guy. He's not in the trenches. He's not working the live events. He's not. I mean, they really don't have live events anymore. But he's not in the trenches the way that Rollins is. And if CM Punk wins, well, we all know Rollins doesn't think much of CM Punk. He's going to take his ball and go home like he did for 10 years. You need somebody like Seth Rollins to win this match and to guide this company, the guy who's going to be there when you need him, the guy who is best for business. That was the idea he was trying to communicate. Nobody honestly believes that this is going to be the most important triple threat match in the history of this company, let alone the industry. They're trying to manufacture something that is just a very hard sell. Because there is nothing on the line in this match. No matter how hard they want to try to magically make something up, nobody believes in it. It's bullshit. It's laughable. They're trying, but I'm sorry, for me, that doesn't work. This match is going to be carried by the star power in the match. I think, given the talent in the match, it should be a very good match. You never know with these triple threats what the chemistry is going to be like. We've seen some really good triple threat matches before, and I'm hoping that this will end up in that category among those triple threats. But I just sat here and I was laughing as I listened to Rollins trying to explain to all of us why we should look at this match as such an important match. And I'm like, brother, it's not working. It's just not working. But we had promos on the show tonight for the World Heavyweight Championship match, which is coming up on WrestleMania Saturday, which is going to have Gunther defending against Jey Uso. We had Gunther come out at the very beginning of the show. He was all full of fire. He was pissed off. He was mad. We had Jey Uso come out later in the show to cut a promo, which honestly was not very good at all. But that was pretty much the final sell that we had for the World Heavyweight Championship match. It peaked 2 weeks ago. The one thing that they could do to try to drum up some interest in this match, they did that one thing. It was very well done. It was the best part of the build to this match at WrestleMania, which was Gunther destroying Jimmy Uso and Jimmy bleeding all over the place. Jay, tied to the ropes and unable to help his brother. It was a very effective segment. And then last week we got a more serious side of Jey Uso when they cut promos on each other. This week it was not serious Jey Uso. The idea is that Gunther has been gotten to. And so Jay came out tonight and was basically like, "You mad, bro? Are you mad?" It really wasn't much of a segment at all. I thought Gunther's segment was very effective. Jey Uso's not so much. And, look, we had a couple of solid matches on the show. On the whole, this was not a very interesting show. This was actually a pretty dull show overall until the final segment. The final segment was interesting. I thought it was well done, even if the idea that Rollins was trying to pass off was just laughable. The way I look at it is this. If your mind was pretty much made up, and I think at this point most people's minds were already made up as far as how they feel about this road to WrestleMania this year, how you feel about WrestleMania this weekend, then this show did not do anything to change your mind one way or the other. If you were excited for WrestleMania, then coming out of the show, you're still excited for WrestleMania. If you came into the show and you were not excited for WrestleMania, I don't see how this show did anything to change your mind and all of a sudden get you pumped up for a show that you weren't already excited for coming into tonight. I don't think it made a difference one way or the other. I said this on the Sound Of yesterday. This WrestleMania season has been lacking. It's been missing that spark. And
There are things on these shows this weekend that I am looking forward to. There's other matches that I wish I was more excited for, and I'm really not. Uh, John Cena not being around very often, and when he was around, frankly, except for that one segment, not really doing a whole hell of a lot or saying a whole hell of a lot. That hasn't helped. It hasn't helped. I'm hoping for a great WrestleMania. I still think the show will deliver the goods. But the build to this year's show, while this show this weekend may deliver the goods, the build has not, unfortunately. At least not for me. No Cody Rhodes on the show tonight. No John Cena. Wasn't expecting them. They're both advertised. Or at least Cena is. I'm sure Cody will be there, but Cena is advertised for SmackDown this Friday. Also, no Rhea Ripley, no Bianca Belair, no Io Sky live on the show tonight. Instead, they opted to have 3 separate video packages with comments from each woman that they spread out throughout the entire show, which I thought was fine. You know, again, what are you going to do at this point? It feels like everything has been done. What are you going to do? You're going to have a contract signing? We've seen all 3 women in the ring together now multiple times. The contract has already been signed. So you can't even do that. We've already had a contract signing. You know, they had these promos. I thought they were effective. That actually is a match that I am looking forward to, given the talent involved. I think that's going to be a banger match. But as for the go home episode, on the whole, nothing terribly exciting. But we're going to talk about it because this is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday. It is the Monday before WrestleMania. It is April 14th, 2025. I am the Solid Monster. Like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me here on a Monday night. Super chats are open. You'll see them popping up on your screen here in just a moment. This is a very busy week coming up, as WrestleMania week always is. Let me fix this here because the chat just disappeared. Yes, there is AEW this week. I know everybody's going to be talking about WrestleMania, but we will talk Dynamite on Wednesday. Friday night, I'll be live for SmackDown, which is going to be in Las Vegas. John Cena will be on that show. Saturday night, night 1, WrestleMania. I'll be live for the recap when that show is over. That's it. I did a WrestleMania predictions special and did that as part of Sound of 909 this weekend. It is up on the YouTube channel. Cole off guard because he was scheduled to do an in-ring interview with Gunther tonight, but not until later in the show. So he was wondering, why is he coming out here now? Gunther gets into the ring. He waits for Cole to come in. Cole's like, well, I guess we're doing this now. So he gets up from the announce desk, goes into the ring, and he brings up Jey Uso being a different person last week. Gunther cut him off, and you recall Jey claiming that he wasn't afraid of you anymore. That's what Jey said last week. I'm not afraid of you anymore. So Gunther was booed. He was getting a ton of heat. And he said that Jey is full of crap. Cole said Gunther seemed frustrated when he brought up last year's WrestleMania, where he lost to Sami Zayn. The crowd started chanting heat, and Gunther pulled the microphone away. People in the chat are even aware. Bayley against Liv Morgan. Bayley got for this because Liv got an entrance. They went to commercial. They came back. Bayley was already in the ring. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, of course, they won the gauntlet match on SmackDown Friday night to become #1 contenders for the women's tag team titles. So they're going to be challenging Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania this Sunday. Morgan tried 3 Amigos. They did the rope break anyway. I think Liv and Raquel are winning on Sunday. So Bayley getting the win here. It's the amazing. Look who was with us tonight. There he is. All hail the mighty. Well, they returned the favor by crotching Julius, right? Because all the group members, gang members, whatever, all the American. It didn't go well. So, what's the next spot, or what do we do now? And so Julius picks him up in a vertical suplex position, and he's walking with him, and he proceeds to walk up the rings. Like we didn't get to see this initially, but while he was laying on the floor outside, El Grande Americano, he takes the little steel plate that he had last week that he kind of shoved underneath his mask, and he does it again. and he places it right in between his eyes underneath the mask. And he gets in the ring. He's got the loaded mask, and he hits Ray with a running headbutt. LWO comes out. They try to make the save. Americano lays them all out with the loaded mask, and then he hits the diving headbutt off the top, and he stands tall. Let me just say that Julius was very impressive here. He usually is very impressive when we see him out there anyway. All the power spots that he does, the suplexes, the kip up into the suplex, and the kip up. We've seen him do a lot of stuff like that. He was very impressive here. We knew Ray was getting the win. This was a momentum win for him heading into WrestleMania. Julius Creed does not have a WrestleMania match. Okay, Rey Mysterio does. But I'll tell you what, El Grande Americano, he has been very impressive since he debuted. I don't know his history. I don't know his backstory outside of the video package, what the announcers have told me. Outside of that, I know very little about this guy. But I think he's been very impressive so far. I look forward to seeing more of him. I'm surprised Tony Khan did not make an offer for him. I actually think he would thrive in New Japan. So I don't know what kind of deal he signed with WWE in terms of length or anything like that. I have no idea. Yes. Otherwise, though, you get to see the entire entrance. Michael Cole pointed out, right as the match was getting underway, he pointed out the significance of the tights that Karrion was wearing, because they look very similar to the kind of tights that AJ was wearing. And Cole said that Cross told him that the same person who designs AJ's tights is the one that he went to design his tights. Even the way he's been wearing his hair over the last several weeks, right? It's been straightened out. Like he's almost been, it's like he's the thing. And he's trying to, he's like, like a shapeshifter, and he's trying to take the form of AJ Styles. Now he's dressing up like him. Cross started the match by telling AJ, I really am trying to help you. Then he gave AJ a shove, which got things going. A few minutes in, Cross ran Styles into the timekeeper's barricade. Then he sent him flying over the barricade. Late in the match, Cross dropped to the mat, and he sold an ankle. Referee went over to check on him. Scarlett reaching into the ring, checking on him, making sure he's okay. As Styles was talking with the referee, Cross got up and punched Styles in the face. This man was mocking AJ's ankle injury. Remember when he broke his ankle? No doubt as to who's going over here. This is just to get AJ ready and all warmed up for WrestleMania. Possible we may not see Karrion Cross again for months. This could be his one appearance for the year at this point. If you look at his track record in this company and how they used him and not used him, I have very little faith. I'd like to be more optimistic for the guy because, I just hope he can get something going. He has put a lot of effort. If you can pay attention to any of the social media stuff he's done on his own, like this is not WWE stuff they're producing for him. This is him going out on his own and trying to supplement whatever he may be doing on TV. He doesn't get to do a lot on TV. But whatever he's into, whatever he's doing on television, they'll cut these promos, they'll do little skits almost, sometimes on YouTube or maybe it's other social media, where he's trying to explain something or dive a little bit deeper into the character or the story. Not everybody does that. Some wrestlers do, but not a lot of people do that. And I think that's really where he was shot. Very little television time, you get to see snippets, little backstage segments that maybe are 30 seconds or a minute. So I think the social stuff is important when he's able to do this stuff. They don't do a 3 or 4 minute video. And context maybe aren't always so clear on TV. He really tries to put the effort in. I'd like to see him get a proper push on his own. It doesn't have to be a faction, final testament, like just him and Scarlett, and get a real push and see where he can go with it. The crowd really doesn't react when he's out there. Well, what do you expect? The guy is not pushed in any meaningful way. The fans have been conditioned to look at him in the position that he's in, which is not a person that really is treated as an important figure on the show. So it takes time. He needs to be consistently on the then see what happens. He'll either get over or he won't. But I still feel like he just hasn't had the opportunity to do on television what I have seen him do on social media. And that's fun. For as long as he's been there for, that's pretty fun. So I hope he gets the chance. I don't know where it goes. I don't know if it works, if it doesn't work. The effort is there. I hope he has the chance to show more of it. Logan Paul walked out, though. When this is over, Logan Paul walked out with a mic. He asked the fans, what was up with all the hostility? Not a whole lot to it. This is one of those matches where it's not about the build. Like, you just hope you get a really good match out of it. AJ's a lot older now. Some of his WrestleMania matches have ended up being very disappointing. His best WrestleMania match may well have been for fucking Shane McMahon.
And that's a shame. That's very sad. Shane McMahon, who's in the 50s, a non-wrestler. Maybe the best match, it might be against Randy Orton. Maybe, I think the only one that was entertaining was The Undertaker. If you want to even call it a match, it was a boneyard match, but it was entertaining. But as the official match, yeah.
What was that? 8 years ago? I remember his match with Nakamura at 34 was very underwhelming. His match with Randy Orton, I never even saw the entire thing. I had a light shining in my face the entire time. The Boneyard match would be his best match, but I'm saying like in ring. If you want to include the cinematic, the Boneyard match, sure. The Boneyard match was the best thing that he's done. But he had the match with Edge. I don't remember really liking that much. What was it, LA Knight last year? You know, for someone the caliber of AJ Styles, and we've seen some of the great matches he's had, especially with John Cena. Him going in there and having a really great match would be nice because he just hasn't had that many of them at WrestleMania. And Styles is fucking awesome. But I feel like he's WrestleMania resume. It's kind of like John Cena. I've talked about John Cena.
He wrestled Chris Jericho.
As long as he's been around for, and for as many great matches John Cena has been a part of in his career, none of his greatest matches have taken place at WrestleMania. Unless you just want to count how big the match was with him and Rock that first time. It was like the classic 2 generations. I wouldn't call that a great match. It was fine. It's obviously a big match. But like Cena's matches with Edge, CM Punk, AJ Styles, those aren't WrestleMania matches. If I had to make a list of the top 5 or 10 John Cena matches, I don't know that any of the WrestleMania matches, frankly, would end up on that list. AJ, same thing. So I would like to see him go out there and tear it up with Logan Paul. And Logan's a great, performer. He's had some great matches. You never know how 2 people are going to gel together. But this is one of those matches where it's like, let's just wait for Mania. Hopefully they'll go out there and just have a great match. There was nothing in the build-up that I think stands out to me as, wow, we're really going to look back on the road to WrestleMania and all that stuff that AJ and Logan Paul did. Like, there was nothing like that. At this point, I'm just hoping they go out there and have a great match. Speaking of people who are hoping that they're able to go out and have a great match, Jey Uso. A lot has been said about Jey Uso, whether he belongs in this spot. Is he a main event level performer at WrestleMania? Can he go out there and have a great match, especially after that terrible match he had last year? Jey Uso is wearing all black. He's got white sneakers, but he's wearing all black. And he enters through the crowd. He gets a huge reaction. The crowd chanting one more time. The music's been playing at this point for 5 minutes. He's standing on top of the announce desk. And he says one more time, play the music again. Time to time. From the moment he walked out, the moment that he spoke and said his first words, it had to be anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. That entire 6 to 8 minute period, Michael Cole is standing there at ringside. He has not stopped moving. He has not stopped beating the entire time. And he's kind of like going like excited this weekend. Last I saw, they had around 50,000. Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Carlito, they attacked him. They ran him into one of the equipment cases. Breaker was on the ground. He was selling his shoulder. as they cut away for the next match, he would soon be selling a different body part, and I'm a little worried, which we'll get to that. But the next match was Finn Balor one-on-one against Penta. This is their first singles match together. Penta, by the way, I just have to say, Penta comes out for his entrance, and, the pyro and the lighting and the dance he does as he comes down to the ring. Guys, it's just fucking cool. You want to know why Penta's so over and why he gets a great reaction when he comes out? Because he's fucking cool. That's why. So I've been very happy for him. I know he waited a long time for this opportunity. So to see him doing well, now his brother is over on SmackDown. He only just debuted. He's had 2 matches. He seems to be doing well so far on SmackDown, but I don't know, man. He doesn't have the cool factor that Penta has. So Penta knocked Balor off the apron during his entrance. The match hadn't even started yet. He knocked him off the apron. He immediately hit the ropes and did this huge flip dive out of the ring. It started dead. Anyway, Penta was in control early. After that, he was in when he got speared to death on last week's show. Maybe the greatest spear of all time last week. And Braun is he's waiting for Penta to get back to his feet. And he comes in for a spear attempt. Penta, though, fought him off. So now, Braun Breaker is outside the ring. So is Dominic. So is Carlito.
I don't know who wins this match. Maybe
Actually,
Penta
he runs the ropes,
Balor's not
scales the
winning. Braun
ropes,
Breaker's
and then does a very basic diving splash off the ropes. Out of the ordinary. He wipes out all 3 of them. Balor was not in the pile. I think Balor was already up the aisleway. But he wipes out all 3 men. And Penta rolls back into the ring. And he is the last man standing. Of the 4, he is the last one standing in the ring that we see before we go into WrestleMania. Now, I mentioned Braun. It may be nothing. I hope it's nothing. But what I noticed is that when Penta came off the top rope, the dive, he wiped everybody out. They all go down. It doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary. Breaker immediately clutches his left knee. And he is selling it like something happened to his knee. Which again is kind of weird, because why would he be selling his knee when his shoulder was attacked in the segment at the back prior to the match? If he was going to be selling any kind of an injury, it would be a shoulder injury. And nobody went after his knee here, but he's grabbing his knee, and the referee comes in to go check on him. Now they cut away, so I couldn't see if he had to be helped to the back. I haven't seen any reports that have come out, but I noticed that and I said, "Uh-oh, that's not good."
Balor been get
Less than a week out from WrestleMania, that would be terrible. If something happened to Breaker, if something happened to his knee, so could be nothing. I hope it's nothing. I haven't seen anything reported yet. Hopefully everything will be fine. But if that becomes an issue, then they got a problem. Because, of course, he is the Intercontinental Champion, and he is defending against 3 other men this weekend. So let us hope that Braun Breaker is okay. And in the back, we see CM Punk. He sits down next to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman has been sitting in the back for the entire show. Because there were a few times, I think 2 other times during the night, they cut to him in the back. He's trying to call Roman Reigns on an answer. He's sitting in the back waiting. There's no Roman Reigns. He's been waiting all night for this guy. So he's sitting there. Punk comes over. He tells Heyman that he was here to calm him down. I've never seen you so stressed in my entire life. Pull up, and of course it's Roman Reigns. Roman gets out, and as he's walking, he turns and he looks, and of course at that moment, Punk is sitting there with his arm around him. Roman looks very upset about this. He's not happy at all. Heyman turns and sees him. He's like, oh shit. And Roman just keeps walking because he sees that there is another man with his arm around his wife's man. Heyman gets up, tries to chase after him. My tribal chief, as Roman is walking into the ring. And that led into the closing segment of the show. We're already up to the final segment. I told you, there wasn't a whole lot that happened on this show. Whatever really went down of any significance was in this segment. We have Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman is finally caught up to him, so he's coming out with Roman. They're making their way out to the ring. Heyman goes to hand Roman the mic. Roman completely ignores him and reaches and gets his own mic. And Heyman is left standing there with a microphone. And Roman tells Sacramento to acknowledge him. So the crowd serenaded him with chants of OTC. Reigns said the whole world can hear that fans love and acknowledge their tribal chief. He said they would never betray their tribal chief. But not everybody is like the fans. And he said some people would betray you. And he asked the crowd, do you have any idea who that might be? So Roman turned his attention to Heyman. And he wanted to know why his wise man would betray him. The fans chanted, and Roman said the wise man's a little hard of hearing. And he asked the fans, you might have to chant that a little bit louder. So Heyman went to speak, and the fans booed. They even chanted asshole at him. There was a light asshole chant. Don't you hate that light asshole? Well, don't you hate when that happens? So anyway, he said it was not a betrayal. He said he paid back a favor that he owed. Roman said he must be a little confused. I must be confused. The way favors work, I thought, is that you usually pay it back yourself. And it feels like the only person getting screwed in this whole favor is him. If there's one thing you know about your tribal chief, we ain't ever going to ask for a favor. We take what we want. So he doesn't owe a favor because he never asked for anyone's help. He didn't ask for anyone's help in war games. Which is true. That was something that Heyman orchestrated on his own. So he said, I never asked for anyone's help. How am I supposed to cover the tab for your dumbass favor? So they were interrupted by Seth Rollins. And he danced his way out to the ring wearing black vest. I would say visionary stuff. Like in the current character that he's in, said he wasn't wearing a shield, tactical vest, but he was nonetheless wearing a vest, and it was absolutely intentional that he was wearing a vest, especially given what was happening later on in the segment. So he asked Sacramento to give it up for their tribal chief. He says, Roman is finally putting the pieces together, but it's too little too late because he still has to end him at WrestleMania because it's the right thing to do. This is where he got into ridiculous nonsense here about this triple threat match is the biggest, most important triple threat match in the history of WrestleMania. And you can argue that this will go down as one of the biggest triple threat matches in WrestleMania history. I can't sit here and say it's the biggest. We've had triple threat matches for world championships. There's nothing on the line at this point. Is this a bigger triple threat match than Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit? You know, is this a bigger triple threat match than Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Batista? You might think it is because of the star power in the match. But those matches had titles on the line. The first ever women's WrestleMania main event was a triple threat match with Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. There have been a lot of big triple threat matches in WrestleMania history. You could argue that this is one of the biggest. You can make the argument that you think it's the biggest, okay? Maybe I would go for that. But then from there he goes, this is the biggest triple threat match, the biggest, most important triple threat match in the history of the company, and it is the biggest, most important triple threat match in the history of our industry. Industry! It can't be Roman. And by the way, the reason that this is so important is because the winner of this match will define the future of this industry. Because if this business is filled with people like him, people that don't show up except for when it's convenient, then this business dies. And it can't be CM Punk either, and Roman is starting to figure that out. Because this business is filled with little CM Punks. Uh-oh. Don't tell Tony Khan. This business is filled with little CM Punks who want to pick up their ball and go home and leech off the success of others. If that happens, he says, this business dies. We get CM Punk chants from the crowd. And Seth says, he asked him, he goes, "You want this business to die, do you?" Well, I don't, because if this business is filled with people like him, who will sacrifice physical and mental well-being to always do what's best for business, and the business not only lives, it thrives. There can be only one, and it's got, what is it, fucking Highlander? It goes, there can be only one, and it has to be him. And as for the one little piece that Roman quite hasn't figured out yet, favors don't happen by chance. It says favors are a choice. He chose not to put Paul Heyman in the last week, and now Paul Heyman can choose whether he wants to pay that debt to Rollins. Remember last week Rollins said, "Now you owe me a favor." He says Heyman is a scumbag and he expects nothing from him. Paul Heyman is not in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania by chance. He is in CM Punk's WrestleMania, or in his corner at WrestleMania by choice. He made a choice. It's not just a betrayal, though. What you need to ask yourself, he's not just returning a favor, he's choosing. And you got to figure out, why is he choosing CM Punk over you? So Roman looks over and he says, "Wise man, yes, my tribal chief." Goes, "He's right." And Rollins is laughing. Roman says, "You made your choice, and I made mine." And with that, he clotheslines Rollins, throws him out of the ring. Heyman is laughing at this. He's getting great joy out of this. And he said, "I acknowledge you, my tribal chief." Roman then turns around, high faces Heyman to the mat. He knocks him down to the mat. Heyman is nearly in tears. Now they place CM Punk's music. Punk, of course, comes running out to the ring. He and Roman start slugging it out. To, honestly, a very tame reaction. This did not get the kind of reaction that you would hope it would get. I mean, we are 5 days out from this big main event on WrestleMania Saturday. CM Punk, one of the biggest names in the company and industry, running down to the ring, going one-on-one, slugging it out with Roman Reigns. And it got like a tepid reaction, or at least that's how it came across on TV. Nothing overwhelming. That was very noticeable to me. So he clotheslined Roman out of the ring, and Punk goes over to check on Heyman, who's sitting down in the corner. But Roman gets back in the ring, and when Punk turns around, he gets speared. Then he unloads on him a little bit more. Rollins, meanwhile, returns to the ring, and he hits Roman in the back with a chair. And this brought back horrible memories for me. I was very upset when they broke up the Shield. Not that like as a mark, like, "No, we break up the Shield," just because I thought, man, there's still juice left to this.
So being
You're killing it too soon. Of course, it all worked out well for Rollins.
Now we find out what we took man. So
But he takes the chair with
so
just
Triple H
like a left.
gonna be tired. Cody was gonna be in the tournament, and he couldn't face.
He wasn't a tactical vest, but he was nonetheless wearing a black vest.
So Cody
like
was
the
gonna
Shield,
face the
he wore a
story
vest.
on Brock
That was
Lesnar.
not by
That means
accident.
it's
That was done by
not
design.
so
It was done to promote that image.
if Cody was
That
gonna
imagery
be
over a decade
they
ago.
can't be
Roman still hasn't learned his lesson. He turned his
Roman
back on
Reigns
this
is
man
the
again.
Universal Champion. That's not the
So he had a chair
Cody was
right
gonna
in the back.
So Brock Lesnar won the tournament.
So
That means Brock
he
Lesnar
delivers a
is
stomp.
gonna win the
At
tournament.
that point, Rollins does.
And you're gonna give Cody
CM Punk after that
go
little callback. And then he delivered a
Cody
stomp
Wolf
to
is
Roman
victorious
Reigns.
one time.
So
He
both
beat
of them are
Brock
down,
Lesnar.
and they are out. Heyman is left sitting in the corner. His eyes are wide. His hands are over his
Champion,
mouth.
but
He's got
why
this
does it
look of
matter?
fear
Okay, he
and
finished
terror
the
on
story,
his
beat
face.
Brock Lesnar. It's not a big
Seth
deal. Why
Rollins
does it matter?
still got the chair in his
Look how
hand,
you booked the feud.
and he's just looking down at Heyman.
I mean, well, who could
That
beat
is
Roman
the
Reigns?
final Raw
Cody
before
Will
WrestleMania.
just finished the
How
story,
and
beat
when
Brock
Raw.
Lesnar. Brock put him over. Now Cody
Second
was the
week in a
champion.
row.
So, what do
Seth
we do
Rollins
going to WrestleMania?
stands tall.
That tells
Stands
me
tall. A
who's
segment
gonna beat
involving
Roman
Paul
Reigns
Heyman.
if it's
So
not
it's really
Cody
Rollins
to
and
finish
Heyman
the story. So,
are the two,
who's gonna beat Roman
which
Reigns?
is very
That tells us
interesting.
that nobody is gonna beat
Given
Roman Reigns.
the fact that there are
You
some
might
people
well
who
give
feel
Roman
like they
Reigns
may
the
be giving us,
Now it
and
doesn't
it
matter.
wouldn't even be much of a spoiler
But
at this
Cody
point.
just finished the story. That was just lazy.
Rollins ended up
And
going
then
to
it made
Heyman. Like if they actually did that, I don't think they will. I feel like the signs have been very overt. I don't know how much of a shock it would necessarily be to some people at this point. mean, it would be a shocking moment, but I wouldn't call it a moment that would be coming out of nowhere. Let's just put it that way. This is a match that, despite whatever Seth Rollins may tell you, it's all about Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is going to be in the corner of CM Punk. Roman Reigns doesn't like this. Where will Heyman's allegiance lie at WrestleMania? And what about this favor that Seth Rollins said Heyman owes him? You owe me a favor now. You have a debt to be paid. All about Paul Heyman. You may as well stick a fucking pole in the ring and put him up on the pole. Tie him to the pole. That's what this WrestleMania main event on Saturday is all about. Rollins can go on with whatever gobbledygook he wants to go on about this being for the soul of the industry. It's going to be a defining match. It will define the future of this industry. Nobody buys into that bullshit. They're trying to make it out to be more than it is because they have the ability, if they wanted to have something tangible on the line here, and they opted not to. Still a big match, but I do feel like there should be something on the line. And there really isn't. But that's the story now going into this match. The story is going to have to support the match. Soap opera type drama during our WrestleMania main event here. In between all of that, hopefully we'll get a kick-ass match. But if you are somebody like me who has been thinking and predicting that Seth Rollins is going to walk away a winner on Saturday, the fact that he has been the one standing tall 2 weeks in a row probably doesn't bode too well for that prediction. I'm going to stick with that. I'm still going to say Rollins, he's going to keep out that win. I still feel that way. I feel a little less confident now, but I still feel that way. Now, as I said earlier, there is a segment that I did almost 40 promos in the train wrecks. I think they're going to go out there and have a very good match. And if you're somebody who does not want to see Charlotte Flair walk out with the championship, this might not be the WrestleMania. Again, Jacob Fatu, Jacob's first WrestleMania. WrestleMania Sunday has 6 matches. That should end up being 7 as well. It should be 14 total. There's 6 right now because Randy Orton has no match. We still don't know who Randy Orton's opponent or opponents are going to be. I would say we'll find out on Friday. We may not. For all we know, we may have to wait until WrestleMania to find out. But Randy Orton will have a match, whether it's Nick Aldis, whether it's Sikoa. Yeah, there's another idea that I floated with maybe a tag match, Solo and Tama Tonga. Again, Randy in a mystery part. Even a little bit lower than that. But on there, that's a lot of on. 53% thumbs up for tonight's show. Not overly enthusiastic. I thought maybe it would be even a little bit lower than that. All the Samoan. For your sake. You take what you want. Reigns never asked anyone to join him at War Games. Yeah? Roman Reigns did not ask anybody. He would have went into War Games 4-on-5. That's just the way Roman Reigns operates. He never asked for anyone at War Games. He never asked for. He wondered why he had to pay the tab for Paul Heyman's favor to CM Punk. Legitimate, logical question. Before Heyman could answer, Seth Rollins interrupted. He comes out wearing a leather black vest, cargo vest, very Shield-esque. Black tactical pants and boots. We know why and the symbolism of why he wore that later on. Rollins said Reigns was finally starting to put pieces together after all these years. Rollins has been spot on about everything. His promo to Paul Heyman, his anger towards Punk getting the main event, during the contract signing, to Heyman face-to-face last week where
he stopped short of delivering the stomp and then said to Paul that now Heyman owes him a favor because he could have ended. After he gave Heyman advice, Punk doesn't want you. Punk is using you. Punk used you for this favor to get what he wants. He got what he wants. He doesn't give a shit about you. You asked him to wrestle at War Games, and he used that to make it all about himself. Rollins has been spot on. But everything. It's very difficult to look at Rollins and see Rollins and hear Rollins. And look at him and say, he's wrong. He's not. Even Roman Reigns wised up. Why would you turn on your tribal chief? Why do I have to pay the bill for your favor with Punk? You're leaving me. That's a decision you made. Yet I'm suffering the consequences for it. I didn't ask for shit. Reigns was just missing one piece. But it was too late for him, says Rollins. Rollins still wanted to end him at WrestleMania because it was still the right thing to do. Rollins called this the most important triple threat match in the history of WrestleMania, in the history of this industry. Because the winner of this triple threat match would define the future of the industry. That person could not be Roman Reigns, because if the industry was still people who only showed up when it was convenient for them and wanted everyone else to do the dirty work, it would die. Now he's going for the kill. Rollins has been there every week. Rollins has been a fucking workhorse, more so than a lot of 90% of this roster. He's been there every week. Punk is not there every week. Rollins is there every week. Roman is not there every week. Rollins is there every week. If you win this match, everything dies. If the industry was filled with people like CM Punk, who pick up their ball and go home only to come back and leech off other people's success, it would die. Rollins didn't want the business to die. And it wouldn't if it were filled with people like him. People who sacrificed and would always do what was best for the business. There could only be one, and it had to be Rollins. The piece that Reigns hadn't figured out yet was that favors didn't happen by chance. And this is where Rollins really solidified his win. This is what really solidified the win for me. My prediction is Rollins will pin CM Punk at WrestleMania. Rollins says that favors didn't happen by chance. They happened by choice. Rollins chose not to put Heyman in the hospital last week. And now Heyman could choose to pay that favor back to him. But Heyman was a scumbag, and Rollins expected nothing from him to begin with. He said Heyman chose to be in Punk's corner. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was Heyman's choice. Heyman chose Punk. And Reigns had to figure out why he was choosing Punk over his so-called tribal chief. Reigns looks at Rollins and looks at Heyman. And he tells Paul Heyman, you know what? And you know, Rollins, I said this a few times tonight. He's been right. Reigns does not want to admit that Rollins is right. He looked at Paul Heyman and said, you know what? This guy is right. Heyman made his choice. And Reigns made his choice too. So Reigns clotheslines Rollins into oblivion, shoved him into the ring post, shoulder first. Heyman, standing there, he's holding the microphone and yells, "Thank you, my tribal chief." Didn't work out well for Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns shoves Paul Heyman down to the mat. Crowd oohed and awed. CM Punk ran out. He gets into the ring. He attacks Roman Reigns. He knocked him out of the ring. Punk checked on Heyman. He turns around after he gets up, and Roman Reigns delivers a spear to CM Punk right in front of Paul Heyman. Rollins from behind. He has a steel chair. And remember, he was wearing tactical boots, tactical pants, and a gray leather vest. He had the steel chair in hand, and they did a callback to the night where he turned on Reigns and Ambrose, and the Shield was no more. He blasted Roman Reigns in the back with a steel chair and delivered a stomp to both Punk and to Roman Reigns. Heyman looked on, scared of what Rollins is becoming.
I'm Christine Home, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President.
Standing tall. That was a fantastic way, a fantastic visual to close out a go-home show before this triple threat match main event night. The callback to the Shield spot was fucking great. Rollins and the evolution of Rollins during this build. He's had his problems with Punk. He's tried to vanquish Punk. He made it about Punk not main eventing WrestleMania. Punk's favor, which really wasn't the favor. Paul Heyman thought it was the favor. He put the WrestleMania main event in the contract, ironclad, for Punk to main event WrestleMania against Reigns and Rollins. Rollins was angry. You don't get to main event WrestleMania. You don't belong here. You're using this place for your own benefit. You don't love this place. You don't get to come back and do the things that I'm destined to do. Roman Reigns sat there thinking that this all happened because of him. Little did he know that the favor was revealed next week. That's not the favor I'm owed. The favor that he's owed is a discussion that Paul Heyman and CM Punk had 15 years ago, where CM Punk said, I'm going to main event WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman said, yes, you will. And when you do that, I will be walking you down the aisle that day, when that day finally comes. Here we go. He made a promise, kept his promise. On the surface, he's being a good friend. For being a good friend, he did make a choice. Rollins is right. Reigns is right. He did make a choice. He's leaving Roman to go with Punk. He's leaving Roman. He's not going to be in Roman's corner. He will be in Punk's corner. Paul Heyman made a choice. Now, Rollins, I don't know where Rollins and this favor comes in. I don't know if this is going to be paid off, if this is going to be a thing or a narrative going into WrestleMania. But we go from Rollins and Punk to Rollins getting angry that Punk's in the main event. Now his focus is on Roman, and now he's playing a chess game with Roman, Punk, and Paul Heyman. And you see what a vile architect Seth Rollins has become. Very reminiscent. That chair shot tonight brought back images of Seth Rollins of old. He does not want Punk main eventing WrestleMania. He does not want Roman Reigns to win this match and lead the industry because Seth Rollins fought so hard to take it all away from Roman. He will do anything he can so that Roman does not get back to where he was last year. He already told Punk, over my dying breath, he will not main event WrestleMania, but here he is. Seth Rollins is slowly getting back to that architect vibe. He's slowly getting back into that first time he turned on Roman type of vibe. Does he align himself with Paul Heyman? Does Paul Heyman then manage Seth Rollins? That narrative is out there, and I would not be surprised to see that. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you're asking yourself, is that where they're going? That certainly could end night one. It would be enough of a shocker to end night one. Does Rollins need Heyman? No. But Heyman is the centerpiece of this entire thing. Roman Reigns and CM Punk. He could say, you know what? Fuck it. The one guy that's been right about everything, I'm going to side with him. Because Rollins said that Punk is using him, which he is. Not only did he get a WrestleMania main event out of him, but now he's in his corner. And the War Games situation, Rollins brought that to life. I was asked twice before Punk was to be on War Games. And I said, no. No. This guy showed up, and he asked to be a part of this, but you owe him if he doesn't. And then Rollins and Reigns, the history there, the Shield, what they fought so valiantly to take away from him last year, he's going to do the same thing this year. And I do think that Reigns and Rollins are going to have a program here. I do think Rollins is going to pin Punk. I do think Rollins is going to win this match on Saturday night, whether Paul Heyman joins him or not. If you're asking, why do you think Seth Rollins is going to win? Because he needs it. CM Punk got his main event. That is a win in itself. He doesn't need it. Punk is invincible. Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. He's not going to take a pinfall loss. And if he loses the match with Punk taking the pinfall, it doesn't really matter. Seth Rollins needs it. He would close the chapter on the Punk feud and move on to what really matters most, and that is Roman Reigns. Whether Paul Heyman's involved in that or not, I don't really give a shit. Rollins and Reigns is going to be the program after WrestleMania. I thought what they did here tonight, the words, the flow, the chair shot, the callback, fucking great. Super excited about this match. I was not after they got off to a very rocky start, but man, did they turn this into captivating television. And great television at that. Promos that mattered, that made sense, that really gave all three of these guys and what they want substance. So yes, I'm looking forward to that main event, and yes, it should main event WrestleMania. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. We got 3,000 in here tonight.
Now let me just rewind back to the beginning.
The hype surrounding this year's WrestleMania compared to last. I wasn't expecting a, oh my God, let's throw everything at the wall type of show. WWE has, in drips, given you a little bit here, a little bit there. There hasn't been one show from top to bottom where every segment was banger after banger after banger.
Based on the storyline,
I don't know what WWE's waiting for. I don't know what WrestleMania is going to look, feel, and sound like. But this week, I have deep dive into the WrestleMania 9 fiasco. And the last time WWE was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania was at WrestleMania 9, which was heralded as one of the worst WrestleManias out of all 41. I don't want to sit here and tell you that WrestleMania 41 is going to be as bad as WrestleMania 9. I don't think that WWE is even capable of that. But the similarities in how we felt about certain things on that show compared to this show coming up on Saturday and Sunday, they are quite similar. WWE, the last time that they were in Las Vegas was for WrestleMania 9. And on paper, honestly, the card looked a lot better on paper than it did when we actually sat down and watched the show. I watched the WrestleMania 9 documentary, which I thought was fantastic. I watched WrestleMania 9 in its entirety again because WWE's Vault YouTube channel uploaded it again in full, all 3 hours of it. And I sat there, and it brought back those emotions of nothing. it brought back those emotions of nothing while watching the show. I felt nothing. For a lot of what had happened there, now looking back at it, much older now, much wiser, much more knowledgeable, I felt nothing. Now going into this year's WrestleMania, I don't want to say I don't feel anything. There are matches on this show that I'm very interested in seeing, a lot of which are coming off of the Monday Night Raw brand, primarily. But I know a lot of you guys outside of maybe Cody and Cena, a lot of it was pieced together on the go without a clear direction of where they actually went. And a lot of that feeling of nothing being felt in the community. A lot of these stories haven't really hit. Now, I don't want to blame everything on The Rock. I don't. The Rock was one segment on a few shows last year. The Rock was in the main event of night 1. He had a hand in the main event of night 2, leading to a Bloodline Rules match. The main event of night 2 was one of the greatest main events in the history of the company. Maybe the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. But when you have something that monumental, felt very visible last year. A lot. He made himself very visible. John Cena has not. And this was all known. Is that the best course of action? Probably not. We got John Cena versus fans in week 1. We got John Cena versus fans in week 2. We finally got Cena versus Cody Rhodes in week 3. Now we're priming for a John Cena 4th appearance on Friday, because coincidentally he'll be in Las Vegas, and that's where SmackDown will be taking place, in Las Vegas. The Rock last year cut viral promos in front of his mobile device that spanned anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. John Cena has not done anything like that online via his social media account or accounts, which reach multi-million. WWE could sit here and Triple H could sit here and claim that all we do is bitch and complain on social media. But when it boils down to it, WWE will never admit that they are wrong. They will never admit that what they are doing is me. Everything that they do is great. Everything that they do has a purpose, a meaning, a strategy behind it. Let it play out.
No, no fun.
I'm looking at it from a head-on perspective. I'm not excited. I have to be, because I have to be in front of you, great people. I'm not having fun. I find myself with my eyes on my phone, my head in my phone. I mean, we're reaching AEW Dynamite sub-levels of bad. You know you're in the shithole when I'm comparing you to Dynamite. WWE has not taken the same course of action that they did last year for this year's WrestleMania, and it's definitely feeling more and more like a WrestleMania 9-5. I don't know what it is with Las Vegas. But if this is the vibe going into WrestleMania 9 that we all vividly remember, and now it's the same thing going into WrestleMania 41, I think it's time to stay away from Las Vegas as a host city for WrestleMania. I'm not excited about a lot of this show. Outside the main event of night 1, I'm excited. Cody and Cena, I'm excited to an extent. I do wish that John Cena did more. I do wish that John Cena did and said more. Said it on Friday, Cody's going to have to go to bat for both of them. He's got to be Batman in a Gotham without the Joker. I don't know how that's even fucking possible. Sure, you got the Riddler. Sure, you got the Penguin. Sure, you got Catwoman. Mr. Freeze. Tony Khan. But they ain't the Joker, man. They're not. Cody's had to carry a lot of this on his own, twice. 2 weeks is a lot in the grand scheme of build for WrestleMania. You don't have John Cena on your show. I may be missing a week. We may be looking at 3 weeks where John Cena wasn't there, and Cody had to go to bat for both of them. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's not going to get me excited. There's only so much that you can say. There's only so much that you can physically tell us. You got to get down to it, man. You got to get down to business. You got to give me some fucking volatile environment. You got to give me some fucking edge of my seat action. It's like a movie. It's like a movie. And there's no action scenes. It's all fucking dialogue. Basically what John Cena and Cody Rhodes is, unless they're saving the big fucking climax for WrestleMania, I don't blame you for being not excited. It's basically what John Cena and Cody Rhodes has been, an action movie with no fucking action scenes. We got the big dastardly heel turn, man. We got the villain, we got the fucking hero, and there's no action in it. The only action that's been had was a crossroads, and that's it. Gunther and Jey Uso, they have done a lot to get people excited. And I know a lot of people were very disenfranchised. Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I was one of, I don't know how many other content creators really praised Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, but I was certainly at the forefront of that. And I still am. I think that was the right decision. I do. And that obviously was planned. They had that plan for weeks. That's exactly where they wanted to go. I use the one statement in describing that. We all know Triple H has played it safe. Saturday night's main event on December 14th. Monday Night Raw on January 6th. Saturday night's main event on January 25th. He played it safe. Royal Rumble happened. We got a lot happening at the Royal Rumble. We got setups for the Royal Rumble. Played it safe again going into the Chamber. The Chamber is really the best show that they've done in the Triple H era. We know he's played it safe. And a lot of what we've seen with Jey Uso and Gunther coming out of the Rumble played it safe. It's almost as if they didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do and where they wanted to go. But man, you're watching this show over the last 3 or 4 weeks and you still don't think that this is a good match for the WrestleMania card, and you don't think that this story has fleshed itself out, you're watching the wrong show. This program has been probably top 3 if you're looking up and down the WrestleMania card. It's got everything you want. It's got a baby face, it's got a heel. 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. It's got a story. It's got, I don't know how you look at those 3 guys and the status that they all 3 hold in the company and deem that, yeah, it's not. It absolutely is. Oh, but Jay, there's no title on the line. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I'm well past that, man. Punk's got his main event. It's Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins has been a fucking workhorse for this company. He deserves to be in the main event just as much as anybody else. Pay it forward. You add Paul Heyman into the mix, you add that dynamic. I owe Punk a favor. But I'm with Roman Reigns. And now you got Seth Rollins, who has been impeccable on the microphone. He's been spot on the microphone. In the last few weeks, you don't know what side of the coin Paul Heyman's going to be on. Is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be Roman? Because I'm here to tell you right now that if you are thinking and you are predicting that Paul Heyman is going to end up joining Seth Rollins, I would not discount that whatsoever. That could very well be the case on night 1. Look out for that, because that is a real possibility. I thought what they did tonight was tremendous. Roman Reigns starting to figure out why.
You know, I think people in the second time they keep wasting away.
On the tribal chief, Seth Rollins just adding fuel to that fire was nothing but truth. And CM Punk gullible enough to think that Paul Heyman has changed his ways. You cannot change a scumbag and have him overnight become a saint. Paul Heyman got to where he is because he's a manipulator. Punk, out of everybody else, should know that.
Big time when we.
That dynamic makes it alone a WrestleMania main event. If you don't like the male soap opera vibe that Paul Heyman gives
Take
this
time
kid,
and
and you
with
think
me.
this is some major promotional triangle of love between all three guys, I don't really give a shit. It's history between all three guys, not only with Punk and Heyman, but all
I
three of
don't
them
know.
dating
Yeah.
back to 12 years ago with the Shield. I love what they've done the last 3 weeks. Ever since the contract signed, I love what they've done. Ever since that big pull-apart brawl where all of them pointed at the sign, the match was made, that was lame. Ever since then, they got right back on track with everything. The Intercontinental Championship. Is there much of a story? Not really. The story is Dominic and Finn Balor. That's the story. If you're not interested in that, I understand. WWE really hasn't put a focus on that too heavily. It's more Braun Breaker, Spear, Kenta, winning. WWE hasn't really put a huge spotlight. I don't want to say they have not put a spotlight. They haven't put a huge spotlight on Dominic and Finn Balor. That's where the real story is. Would they have put a spotlight on that a little bit brighter going into WrestleMania season? I think so. It would have made the match a little bit more story-driven instead of just putting all four guys in the ring, putting a championship on the line. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, the other match that people should think. Main event. That's happening on night 2. That's going to be a banger match. All three ladies are going to kill it. The story is there. Bianca, is she going heel? Is she going to remain undefeated at WrestleMania? Io. She's walking into WrestleMania as the champion everybody wanted. Does Rhea get her championship back? There's a lot going on there. Did I enjoy the build and the lead up to what they did? I did, to an extent. Was it a little convoluted getting there? Sure. But WWE has given them WrestleMania treatment, so I don't mind what they did. Then we got Logan Paul and AJ Styles. If you're looking for a story, I'm right there with you. I don't know what the fuck the story is. But it could be a sleeper match of the night. Logan Paul's great. AJ's great. You put them together in the ring, you're going to get a good match. But there is no story. Americana. The other thing I'm looking forward to. Oh, but JD, this is silly. Oh, but JD Chad Gable deserves a WrestleMania match. He's getting a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. No matter how silly it is. Only the beginning. It's not even going to end at WrestleMania. We get that little show in St. Louis coming up called Backlash. Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio could realistically be the match of the fucking weekend if they wanted to. Are you doubting Chad Gable, mask or no mask? I know I'm not. I don't think you would. Is it silly? Sure. But it's entertaining. And Chad Gable, no matter what the fuck he's wearing, is going to go out there and deliver a bang because that's what he does. SmackDown's a little bit more murky. I'm not really interested in anything coming off of SmackDown. Nah. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, couldn't really give a shit. I'm an LA Knight guy, but I don't really care about the United States Championship whatsoever. Tag Team Championships. We got the New Day versus the War Raiders. They're clearly adding a stipulation to that match because everybody in the company even knows themselves that the fucking feud and the match is ice fucking cold. So they'll probably add a Viking rules match or some type of war stipulation to it where it goes to a no DQ. They're trying to manufacture something that Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, another sleeper match. Could be sleeper match of the weekend. Said it on Friday. Don't doubt Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest when he shows up to work, man. They make it believable. They do. Drew McIntyre is a fucking A+ player in this company. Not being treated like one. Certainly is. WWE has not given us a lot to sink our teeth into as far as story. Everybody says WWE is the place where stories thrive, saying that all of it has been bad. But from a fan's perspective, we expect excitement. We expect unpredictability. We expect you to not play it safe. We expect you to put your best face on. We expect you to put your best foot forward. WWE sometimes wants to put their best foot forward, but sometimes also they don't give a shit. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt this while watching tonight's show, but when Michael Cole introduced the show, there was just a lack of energy that is palpable. You feel it, you taste it. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking Excalibur's a little bit more excited for fucking 1,500 seat Dynamite on Wednesday compared to Michael Cole, who we have WrestleMania coming up on Saturday and Sunday, 50,000 each night at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. He can't be bothered to be excited to the open of the show. When they start seeing the money roll in fucking truck, they broke records by doing minimal work compared to last year. Cena versus talk like adults. This is crap. Adults don't say the fuck crap.
Alright, I'm gonna stop the video. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see y'all later.